Tell him how much you love him. Tell him whatever it is your heart needs to express. And do it now.
Can we just talk about how good of a wingman Ra's al Ghul is?
Alright, do you think we're ready to get into some questions?
Sure.
Alright, so the first question, of course, about Olicity. Olicity, more than a lot of ships, seems to have plenty of male fans. That's not something you see with every ship, so what is it about Oliver and Felicity that appeals to guys?
One is the fact that Felicity is hot. I mean, if we rank the shows, I mean, when you first see it, she is like the one of the breakthrough hotnesses. I mean, if you look at the rest of the cast, Laurel looks like Who Shot John. Thea looks like, you know, recovering meth addict number 2. So really, that's all you pretty much get. So she's like the gold standard. So the fact that she's the nerdy girl who ain't supposed to make it, you get that whole we're rooting for her thing behind the scene.
Can I add on to that?
No,
Yes.
because it was perfect.
I mean, it was like 90% perfect, if I may.
Yeah.
Felicity is also represents that fantasy of the hot nerd girl. Because she represents that ultimate fantasy of the hot nerd girl with the long blonde hair and the glasses and everything like that. She's that ultimate fantasy for people who watch that show, especially coming from the superhero lovers.
Case in point, that
And
first
Oliver-
episode when she put on that dress. The
gold dress or the red dress?
the red dress.
Yeah.
That dress. So if I can add on something else to this, so we can make it a full 100%. You also have the contrast in that first season of Oliver kind of coming back damaged goods per se, pretty much dark. Felicity pretty much added the lightness to the show. So you had that stark contrast of dark and light, just being a good pair, being around each other.
It was fighting the norm because everybody knows who Oliver's supposed to end up with, and even the show is trying to push in that direction, but the fans have been fighting it ever since. And because the fans are fighting it, that's why she's staying on as long as she is. But there's a change coming.
But even organically, it's there because if you notice in season 1, every woman character in the show, except for Felicity, kind of treats Oliver like shit. Even though he just came back from this island after being stranded for 5 years, and the world isn't what it used to be to him. She was the only person that didn't treat him like that. Now, granted, she wasn't all loving on him, but I mean, like, even Thea was like, well, you're selfish because you're acting like this. His mom was
Like, bitch, I've been on the island for 5 years.
Yeah, like, and it was interesting because
You know how much porn I saw in those 5 years? 0.
I guess they were trying to go for that aspect of because they were rich, waspy women, they didn't understand things like trauma and you know, life-changing experiences.
So what I'm hearing as one of the main underlying things is Felicity, or the pairing of Oliver and Felicity, isn't just like a throwaway romance, but it actually has something to do with the plot of the story. It furthers Oliver's story. I'm going to go to the next question, which is very similar. What are the downsides or problems with Olicity? Or maybe the writing sometimes, or have you seen any downsides or problems or anything that you would want to change or not see or see?
Some of the problems that I see is that Arrow has lost its way. One of the main reasons why we tuned in to Arrow is because of, you know, the violence and the action that came to it. And then the relationship serves as a purpose. It helps form pacing, which it has done a good job. But now what it is doing now is it's neutral, like it's giving us action, but not what we were used to. And that's what's kind of hurting it in the long run, because now you have all these series coming up like Daredevil, which are bringing the pain like Arrow used to do. I remember when Arrow for season 1 came on, we were like, oh man, what is this? What is this hotness?
Like this is not Smallville.
Like literally everybody came to me and said, you know, Smallville, take any copy you have, wipe your ass with it, throw it in the trash.
I feel like the romance has kind of become the forefront of the show in a way. is not as enjoyable in the sense that we have to pretty much wait for the action to come now.
Like, it fell to the victim of CW writing.
Right.
Where
It was a love triangle.
exactly, and now that's the main focus of the story. When hello, there's a dark Archie, you know, nipping people in their asses.
So, question 3. This is a fun one. In season 3, we did see a sex scene between Oliver and Felicity.
Yes, we did.
Now, I've heard plenty of girls' reactions to this scene, but now we need to get guys' reactions. What do we like and dislike in romance scenes for these two?
Well, we go ahead. I'll tell you what I dislike. Go ahead. I need to charge my man. Hold up.
Let me just say there was a lot of candles in that room.
There were so many candles. Did you like or dislike that?
It was weird.
Georgia Power is weird. It's real. I'm pretty sure the king of demons can afford an electric bill or two.
What bothered me is that it was
Man ass.
no, it was played up as this big event, and it wasn't really anything. And I kind of feel like it wasn't going to be anything because it's on CW, and I doubt CW can even show side boobs.
We got the sex scene after we saw Felicity and Ray have sex.
True.
So
They had sex?
Yes.
yeah,
We try to forget about that.
her sex pretty much gave him the
Superpowers.
willpower and the brain power to finish the Atom suit.
I just feel like there was this big play up and big expectations from something that inherently was not going to be what everybody wished it could be.
So everybody wanted like a cable.
I think everybody just wanted HBO straight.
Yeah,
like
straight
raw.
raunchy. Just straight.
And then you weren't gonna get that.
I wanted
were
to
not.
rock the cave so
So
hard.
for me, it was just another scene in Arrow.
Alright, so 10 seconds. Tell me best and worst thing about the sex scene.
Worst thing was weak. There is no best thing.
Worst thing was too much Oliver. Second thing, not enough nudity.
Okay.
It was forgettable.
Let's go to the final question before our next game. The original ship, Oliver and Laurel, was not well liked. Why is that?
I think what it is it was typical. Like, that was the route everybody expected it to go.
Predictable.
And I think the CW said, well, you know what, we're going to give y'all a curveball. And they threw Felicity in there. Everybody knows Green Arrow ends up with Black Canary. And everybody knows that was supposed to be Black Canary. So it was obvious from the start. So people probably weren't feeling it. Then they threw Felicity in there. And that changed the game.
I'm sorry, it's just they murder her character so well that we just don't like her anymore. I mean,
That too.
I mean, it's like she's like the chick who eats sandwiches on the toilet. Like, you don't want to be associated with her.
Like, you don't want good things to happen to her.
Exactly. Like, she literally farts in a room and walks off. She's that type of person.
What is so wrong with me that everybody leaves?
So most of your problems with Oliver and Laurel come down to you don't like Laurel.
Pretty much.
So there's not any issues outside of that you would have issues with Oliver and Laurel being together.
It's just Kate Cassidy as a person. Like, she would eat the last donut at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Like, she's that level of asshole.
Felicity is also represents that fantasy of the hot nerd girl. You never mentioned the nerd part. So, no, you did not.
You're sitting right next to me.
And I'm sitting right next to you, and I said you did.
Whole standard. So the fact that she's the nerdy girl who ain't supposed to make it, you get that whole little rooting for her being behind the scenes.
You didn't mention that. You just said she was attractive, and that Laurel looked like crap.
Family Guy gave us side boob. You telling us that the CW can't give us side boob.
You got the juice now, man.
Oliver and Laurel was not well liked. Why is that?
Because Laurel was ugly.
And